I thought the band was over. I was the first one to say.
Find out who Shane is talking about here.
No offence, but we don't care about them.
But now we've been hearing all about these Northern Ireland super fans, so before we take a quick break, I think we should meet a few.
I've seen Westlife 7 times.
I've seen Westlife 7 times every year they've been in Belfast.
I've been there every year, 2001. I haven't missed a tour.
I've seen Westlife 8 or 9 times.
I've seen them 32 times in the Odyssey.
Absolutely amazing. They're the best band ever.
I just love them.
Yeah, my favourite Westlife member is Nicky because I just love him, as you can see.
ShNickyMarKian. It's just so gorgeous. I love him so much.
This is where I met Nicky last year.
I've like met Nicky loads. See every time he comes out and he does that wee smack. Oh my God.
We scream the loudest.
Scream the loudest.
This is my soundtrack with me and Shane.
I'm the #1 fan in the universe.
And Shane was really lovely. And he got out of the car and I was crying.
They're just so natural, so great, so kind.
It was just an amazing day. I'll never ever forget it. Thank you, Shane.
Very welcome.
Welcome back. So, Westlife are making records, breaking records. They're enjoying #1 after #1, selling out tours everywhere. In fact, life in Westlife is perfect, right? Wrong.
You know, it's very, very hard to kind of juggle two lives when you've got a family and, you know, being in a band like Westlife, it is a huge commitment. And to be honest, for the last year especially, and especially since Lily was born, I haven't really been able to commit 100% to Westlife. And I haven't been able to commit 100% to my family. So I kind of felt it was unfair on both. And I just felt it was the right time for me to kind of stand back.
When Brian left, it was a very big shock to us. You know, when he came in and told us that night, we actually thought we were being punked. But he said, no, I'm not punking you lads. It's what I want to do. I want to leave the band.
I thought the band was over. I was the first one to say. We were all sitting in that apartment in Dublin when he told us, and he left, and I just went, the band's over, lads.
As straightforward and kind of, you know, instant Brian is, he's also kind of quite a complex character, and I don't think anyone still knows exactly why. And to be honest with you, I don't know if Brian's even delved into his own mind to see exactly why he left.
Brian left because he wasn't happy, you know, and we didn't know, to be honest, how unhappy he was. He never let on, and he obviously had problems in his marriage that we had nothing, we had no clue about.
I didn't have a resentful bone in my body for when Brian decided to leave, because being in Westlife wasn't the easiest thing in the world.
That was the scariest time, you know. It was it just felt like it didn't feel like the right time for me, and I knew from the other 3 guys, excluding Brian, that I didn't, you know, this wasn't supposed to be. We hadn't planned it like this. We hadn't, you know, we talked about years, including Brian. We talked about the next step and the next step.
For about 3 or 4 seconds I thought, oops, Brian's gone, what are we going to do? And then I thought, no, we're going to keep this band together.
That was it. We were a 4-piece, and it was either pull our socks up or keep them down and go home.
We'd like to start off by thanking you, Brian.
We did that big press conference where he left, which we should have never done. I cried, which I should have never done.
The last 5 days have been a huge strain on all of us, and only us 5 in Louis will ever understand that.
I was at the press conference, and Kian did this kind of iconic moment in Westlife's history now, where he stood up and he read out this letter to Brian, a personal message to Brian about how he felt. I couldn't help but think, you know, those aren't necessarily tears for how much you'll miss Brian, which I know they were genuine tears in that respect, but I think that it was more for, they were worried for themselves. Westlife were worried about their future. They were scared. They were tears of fear.
I think we glorified him too much when he left the band, you know. He left the band because he didn't want to be a member of Westlife, and we respect him for that. He did what he had to do for him, but we shouldn't have glorified him on it.
We wish you, Kerry, Molly and Lily all the very best in your career and family life in the future. And for one last time, Brian, from the bottom of our hearts, we love you.
I wonder how, I wonder why, I wonder where they are. The days we had, the songs we sang together, oh yeah.
And he got up and left them as a 4-piece, and Kerry was actually sat literally on the seat next to me watching the whole thing just in the middle of all the press, his wife Kerry Katona. She turned around to me and says, I hope to God he's not making the wrong decision here. And I thought that was a very telling moment, that maybe even Brian didn't know exactly what he was doing.
It must have been really difficult for them to lose a key member, because Brian was the cute one or the funny one, and I think Westlife were at a critical position at that moment.
That's the good thing with having a five-piece. If one leaves, you can still keep it together as four. Brian was great, yeah, we miss him, but the band goes on.